And we're in just in time for Freshly Pressed 981. It's a segment where we give you a detailed analysis of our newspaper stories. This morning, for a Feel Good Friday, we have in the studio with us Nwaji. Good morning, Nwaji.
Good morning, Valentine. How are you?
Very well, thank you. You can find him up on social media as the Corporate MC. The corporate is with a K. And of course, Miss Ireti Bakare-Yusuf. Good morning.
Morning. I came in looking yellow, orange, red, pink, blue for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
I can
much.
be your rainbow,
We'll take
Folu and
We
Valentine.
will take it. It is a Feel Good Friday after all. And Lagos, join us in the conversation this morning and comment on today's news stories by sending us a WhatsApp message to 0809 4440981 or tweeting at us with the hashtag freshlypressed981. Remember to Feel Good Friday, regardless of how many people try to make you upset this morning. I
Yes.
speak for myself. Let's carry on.
We go on to this story from Guardian newspaper, and this one is for you, Aji. So Buhari tasks Africans abroad on ridding the continent of graft. He met with a Ghanaian leader over the attacks on Nigerian traders in the Ashanti region recently, and then addressed some concerns regarding, corruption and then existence of safe havens. Please take us through the story and share your thoughts.
Yeah, this is basically Buhari's international anti-corruption charm offensive that he's trying to do, and now he's going after Nigerians in the diaspora to, find their moral conscience and not engage in graft activities, whatever that means. And I think this is probably in response to what's going on in Ghana with regards to Nigerian business people that want to set up businesses in Ghana, and these very strict requirements that the Ghanaian government has with regards to your deposits. I think it's a couple $100,000. I think the story was covered earlier in the week.
It's for like $1 million.
Oh, it's $1 million now.
$1
$1 million
million.
now, and that's it's more or less like a security deposit
Yes.
in the event that something happens. But this speaks to a larger issue on the continent regarding corruption. And you see, when you go after Nigerians or other Africans in the diaspora, you have to ask yourself whether these things start from. And when you look at the sheer numbers of people that are engaging in graft activities. So in as much as I appreciate where he's coming from, what he's trying to accomplish, I think the larger conversation now begins that charity starts at home. If you can begin to engage individuals on the home front to now stop graft activities within the country. We've seen what has happened over the last couple of weeks with the Osun state elections, which we're going to talk about later, and just how much money has been exchanged in the name of politics. If you can begin to just disengage from those kind of thinkings regarding what money should and should not do, then you wouldn't have a situation where you have to speak to Nigerians abroad regarding them not getting into graft activities. People, for whatever reasons, do this, but I'm not sure. I don't necessarily know if I agree with this particular approach that Buhari's coming from.
Because I was going to ask, because the Ghana situation seems a bit worrisome, because it's almost as though the Ghanaian Ministry of Trade and Industry is deliberately pricing out Nigerian traders, because that's what the traders had complained about earlier this week, that their stores are just being shut down. These laws or rules were put in relatively recently. It doesn't apply to the rest of the traders of at least in Ghana. And if we are, the economic community of West African states, and there is meant to be free trade and free movement across the border, is it helpful that our president almost seems to be saying, well, you must be doing something wrong?
Exactly. So that's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You need to address the root of the issue. And what's funny is that this rule in Ghana has been there for a while. It's just, I think the amount of money has been the contention. I think
it's gone up?
It's gone up.
Okay.
It used to be like a couple $100,000 with regards to how much you need to set up a business in Ghana. So I think it going up to $1 million is now like, are you serious? Like, how do you
Who's got a
Who wants
million
to-
got $1
dollars
million
sitting
to
around?
put it down?
Yeah.
Well, I have. I can borrow you guys.
Please do.
See me after the
Please.
show.
Is it?
Yeah. So I think that's the issue. And Buhari do not address Nigerians abroad because they're already dealing with their own issues. So I don't agree with this particular approach.
All right. Let's move on now to Punch newspaper for this next story. ASUU, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, mobilizes for strike, demands 1.1 trillion naira funding for varsities. Ms. Ireti, in this story, the zonal director, coordinator of ASUU, Bauchi Zone, Professor Lawan Abubakar, faulted the claim by the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, that the federal government approved the release of 20 billion naira. He said they did not release it to the union. It was released rather to the universities. And he said that the 20 billion that she's mentioning was actually a palliative that was meant for, to settle their differences back in 2017.
And he said, this is a quote, what will 20 billion do for 64 public universities in this country? What we now want is the 1 trillion, 1.1 trillion. That is the amount that the government should release, not 20 billion, as she said, said Abubakar. And he's right. So Here we go, 2013 to 2018. So there had been earmarked 200 billion in 2013, which actually would have been okay, right? But of course, as usual with everything, you don't pay, it rises and things get deteriorated and it gets worse and yada yada yada. And that's what's been happening. So 200 billion for 2013. 220 billion was earmarked for 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018, respectively. And it hasn't happened. And yet, I can understand his annoyance rather.
Yes.
Because when you say, well, at least we're giving you 60 billion, I think it's possible that Madam Zainab Ahmed may not have the background information since she's just taking up the job.
But she doesn't work alone. She works with people who are supposed to provide such information.
Even then, but we all have people who work for us who don't necessarily provide the information that we need them to. I think it's possible because I find it surprising that she would think that look, 20 billion is all right when you're supposed to get 1.1. I mean, what is that going to do for 64 Nigerian universities? So anyway, they're pushing back on her, and I don't know. That's as usual with everything in this country when it comes to, government and state-owned, apparatus, if you like. It's a he said, she said. It's a sort of punching bag. And somebody will have to capitulate. And the chances are the universities will have to capitulate. I'm not confident that they're going to end up... and I'm not confident that they're going to end up with the amount of money they're asking for. I think they'll find a middle ground somewhere, because where is the government going to get 1.1 trillion from? I mean, I don't know.
And then
the government is broke.
And then some people might be tempted to start thinking, oh, yesterday NLC just went on strike. Now the lecturers are asking for money.
Yes, there was a strike yesterday. Some people couldn't get married. I could have married several, people yesterday. I couldn't. They were on strike. All the registries were closed. So all engagements are off, guys.
So does this still fall into the same group of people, or do they fall into the same group of people who are pushing towards making these demands? Seeing that elections are drawing really close.
You see, and this is the unfortunate thing. Very quickly, because I know we need to move on. This is the unfortunate thing. That strike should have actually affected all of us. The unfortunate thing is it doesn't actually. It really doesn't, and it tells you how this country is so sort of fragmented. And how, public services, you can do your thing. Like I said, if it wasn't a case of me getting married to all my concubines yesterday, I would not have noticed the thing.
Do you think you become a labor union? Would you consider maybe joining labor, getting involved? Because, I mean, the way that we can all come back together is for the labor unions to have some form of credibility, for people also in the private sector to realize that labor issues affect all of us. So do you think perhaps there should be a push for more people to get more involved?
I think you're right. I think you're right, Folu. I think it is important for us to have unionized industries, but the thing with unions in Nigeria is, after the show they go looking for the dope man, that rap, that kind of thing. So I don't particularly trust them, but I would join the bridal union if there was a bride's union,
let's just move
or wives union.
Thank you for that.
I'll jump to this story very quickly. So, Daily Times, police deny arresting INEC accredited observers in Osun, and that's bringing the story back to front. But Nwaji, I'd like us to take this story and lead into the elections. Now, the Nigerian police said that there were allegations made against them that they arrested some accredited INEC observers and denied them access to polling units in the rerun election in Osun State. But they're saying, no, we did not arrest any such person. We only arrested people who camouflaged as INEC observers that had customized tags. Nwaji, your first.
Yeah. When you lead with that, where do you
Go
start?
from there.
Where do you go from there? Bottom line, what happened in Osun State over the last couple of days is telling of what's going to happen in 2019. The on-the-ground assessments and reports, I was in a chat group with a bunch of people who were there, and the constant conversations and commentary and images that were coming out of Osun State were quite scary. There was a 12-year-old girl that died in some melee that erupted and things of that nature, and it's quite sad. And with the police acting the way that they did, saying that we didn't arrest accredited INEC officials, we just arrested people who happen to look like INEC officials, is saddening and telling of what's going on. So the election security intimidating apparatuses have been deployed, basically, to more or less ensure that the will of the ruling party or whoever gets what they want. the elections happened last week. You had a particular party that won or claimed that they won. You had a rerun election, and now another party has won. And in between now and then, you have seen a lot of things happen with regards to the police and security forces. So with the police coming out to say this, why would they arrest INEC officials and deny it? It now is just telling of the state of despondency that we see every 4 years when it comes to elections and what people are prepared to do. And when you now look at the amount of money that has been allocated, this is what that money now goes towards. So, Folu, you wanted to?
Just a quick note is that I have witnessed, even at my polling unit a few years ago, people who do parade as officials and they're not, people who do parade as party reps and they're not.
Of course.
So
yeah.
I guess the issue is now how we show that you're distinguishing appropriately.
Thank you. So that's the point. So how do you actually know? And that's part of the issue. So you're arresting people based on what? Is there some kind of actual verification system or process that happens? I mean, it's just shambolic. It's sad, and the fact that we have to go through this every 4 years is also part of the problem.
Yeah, so Mr. Ireti, over to you. Let's talk about the election proper. So, apparently from Vanguard newspaper, we have the story, and it's on different newspapers this morning. Governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Alhaji Boyega Oyetola, has been declared the winner for the by scoring, the scores leaves a margin between himself and the runner-up, that's the PDP candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, of 482. That's the difference, and that's what's your view on this number and how
What's
the
to
election
discuss? The man has won. It's unfortunate for the Adele case. I don't know what we've got to discuss. I mean, look, I said yesterday downstairs when we were talking about this Osun thing, I said, personally, I want the best person to win, right? It's unfortunate that it's the best man. I would like it to have been the best person, say a male or a female. But my greatest fear is I do not want, and it would be sad if we ended up with another state that's the Federal Republic of Adeleke Osun, or like we have the Federal Republic of Kwara, Saraki, whatever it is. So that has been broken. We don't have a dynasty anymore. There's no more sort of family dynasty. So I think that's a good thing. As to who is best, I don't think I know enough about either one of them to care. Actually, to be honest with you, it's okay to say actually I don't care. I don't care. He's won. Good luck to him. Well done. The people of Osun should care. Let's move on.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. We've got messages coming in. MI from Akoka comments saying, I like how the president is championing his anti-graft message in the UN. We need more of such here too, because we have more questions and answers. But also Ghana should not toe the path of their southern neighbors in picking on Nigerian businesses. While Bolaji says, how can someone qualify to contest for a gubernatorial election with just a school cert and not qualify with a BSc or without NYSC certificate? Something is wrong with the laws, says Bolaji. Still up on WhatsApp, Tony Ayo from Ayobo says, on the Osun rerun, in as much as there was a lot of thuggery, the fact that the ruling party won is not out of place. It happens in Abia, where Apiga was leading before the rerun, and after the rerun, PDP won. Also, how on earth would Al Hassan and Mama Taraba think that APC will give her the APC governorship ticket when she openly disowned them in support of Atiku? What's the lady thinking? As for Shitu, his assumed brilliance has put him in trouble. More comments on Osun State. Bengu says the people of Osun were in a serious dilemma between voting for bad continuity on the part of the APC on the one hand and mediocrity, that is voting for a candidate who registered for 8 papers, sat for only one of them and got an F9 in that paper. On the other hand, making a choice when you have 2 bad options can be very frustrating. Perhaps why we saw such narrow margins there, but thank you for your messages. We'll move on to the next story. This is a curious one, I find, Ms. Ireti. A pupil has sued his school and demanded over 100 million naira over cancelled admission. So it's a former student of Hillcrest School in Jos, and a lot of the Jos people out there will know Hillcrest. It is a very popular school and arguably quite a good one as well. They're demanding damages of about 100 million over the deliberate cancellation of his admission.
Do you understand? It's like, it's sending the wrong message on so many levels, so many ugly messages. Disabled, in one way or the other. Others are invisible.
Yeah.
His disability is invisible. You have a right. If you're opening a school, if you're starting a school, you have a fundamental responsibility to be able to take in every single that school it with your requirements. If they don't, then that's fine. But you don't have the right to turn down a child because of his allergy. Could be to nuts or, onions make me vomit. I mean, are you going to turn me down because of that? It's insane. So anyway, 100 million is what they're asking for. I'll be very quick because I said, there's the quote, my lord, we are urging the court to give a mandatory injunction compelling the respondents jointly or severely to said sum to the client. I was going to ask you, Folu, you went to law school. Is there such a thing as a mandatory injunction? Because I'd have thought that was impossible, especially given that it's a suit or whatever.
Asking for an injunction.
Which means what? Which means that they'll stop them. They have to take child to school.
Essentially, just pay the amount.
Okay, right. Just pay it.
Exactly
like, don't contest it. That's what I'm saying. It's a bit ridiculous, right? Who's going to do that? Right. And of course, what the school is saying here is, and we are compelled to say what the school is saying. The school is saying, look, we're not a federal school. Therefore, these laws and this court doesn't apply to us. But let's follow this story. It's really important that we must keep an eye on this story. Really interesting.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for that, Ms. Ireti. Nwaji, let's come over to you. So we do know that strikes abound in the land, and whenever the government feels pressure, a lot of people show up simultaneously. So we're seeing this next headline, which, I mean, it echoes that to us. Oil marketers urge the government to pay alleged $650 billion.
Much to it, in the sense that you see this thing repeating itself over and over again. And now we've been warned, and now we've been September going into October. Okay, and by November you're going to start seeing the petrol queues, and then you're now going to start seeing the issues at the gas stations. That's what's going to happen. So this is more or less their intro to the warning that guess what, guys, we're in Q3. Christmas is coming. Get ready for those petrol queues and get ready for everything else. That's what pretty much this is, because the conversations keep going on. These guys have not been paid their subsidies because they went into legal contracting binding agreements with the federal government. That money has not been paid. Different conversation, but as long as they are owed that money, they are going to continue to toe that particular line. Dangerous conversation. It's a dangerous conversation, and that's why people wanted to eradicate this whole subsidies thing, because of the dependency that the oil marketers have with regards to the control that they have with regards to now these petroleum products now hitting the markets.
You know what would be nice to see going forward, and we're going to attempt to compile this for you, maybe do a special on
the S word
subsidy, yes, is sort of a breakdown of arrears that the government has supposed to have paid off, because there have been different times where the government has come out and said, and Ipman have agreed that certain amounts of money have been paid off. So it's always curious to understand just how often this happens.
But it's very public. I mean, this number has significantly reduced. It was in the trillions at one point. So you have to understand. So they're not their actual figures, and they go years. It's not just something that just happened. But what oftentimes happens is tweet for a while, and after a while, especially when they need that money, they're going to come out and be like, look, you're still owing us. So that's what this is. So that number has significant millions that it was at to what it is. Just like, look, if you don't want a situation, what they're basically is, if you don't want a situation that you have seen is going into Christmas, just pay us some of this money so that we can just all be nice and merry going into the season.
Wow. Take a quick message here from YouTube. Our YouTube link is there. On watch us live. Tunde Okufi says this one, the situation in Nigerian universities is critical. Very little research, insufficient classrooms, poor remuneration, and decaying infrastructure, almost as though education is irrelevant. He continues to say possible solutions include public-private partnerships such as product placements and direct advertising to the students, while they provide much-needed infrastructure and grants in return.
Well, but talking about students, I mean, despite the dearth of funding and issues, is a little bit cheery, actually. Covenant Varsity, University of Ibadan, and University of Nigeria, Nsukka, have ranked among the universities there. Ranking of Ibadan, 5th and 6th positions, respectively, on the that's out of all the 28 African ranked institutions for the 2019 rankings. And I have to say that just made me smile. Shout out to my hometown.
Not a university, not a university, but
which come to the Ogun.
Where those hotspots are, the tremors is just common sense of nature. So it lets us know that if we're going to continue with that particular practice of, getting water out of the earth for our consumption, then these are going to be the outputs of it. So given that those locations happen to sit in seismic regions, you're going to have that possibility. And I think it's this kind of information so that we can also have some prevention plans in place, especially with building materials that we talked about. So that way, when you build and you construct, there are things that you can do to protect your property. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Absolutely.
So it's important that everybody has this information. Everybody should go read it and inform yourself. So big shout out to this agency for getting in front of the story and putting this much detail out to inform Nigerians of what's going on.
Indeed, learn about the triangle of life.
That's
much.
right. On WhatsApp, Dalvin from Maryland sent in this one. Said, Miss Ireti, OAU will always remain
Here they come.
all by one university.
Whatever.
So relax.
Whatever.
Greatest
You couldn't
Ife.
even pick a governor in one go. You had to do it twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Ifoma from Ikoyi said, hi, great news about 3 universities. One more thing, though. University and varsity are not the same thing. No. Varsity is old English and is used to describe sports team as schools. Okay, thank you very much for the
Sorry
school
about
uniform.
that. Ms. Ireti, you had something that you wanted to chip in very quick.
Yes, very quickly, I've got to show my face and be totally embarrassed and apologize to Maureen Leonard. Maureen, I was supposed to give a keynote speech yesterday. I thought it was today. There were a room full of young women waiting for me. I need to embarrass myself in public and really apologize to every single person. Everybody's laughing here. Every single person that was there. Maureen, I'm so sorry. Maureen runs Etinard Consulting and she's a listener. And every single young lady that I was waiting for, I promise, this is not going to happen again. I will not take any drink from Folu Storms the night before again. She will not distract me again. I am asking Jesus to take control now. But Maureen, my sincere apologies,
Amen.
honestly.
This is how you used to do this.
Must to blame somebody, no?
All right, I'm the good guy here. Lagos. So Chinedu sent in this one on Twitter very quickly before we go. Ipman is loading for Christmas fuel scarcity, but I thought the angels in APC said there's nothing like fuel subsidy. Election. Coming up in 15 minutes, Lagos, we talk sports. Biola, that's Biolicious, will be in to share the top stories in sport. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to our analysts.
Great show,
the
thank
corporate
you.
MC at CCOG Lagos. Good morning.
Morning. All right.
And we were within time.
Yeah.
Oh, super duper duper
We always are
when there's